is the Maggie Morgan Show.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome once again to the Maggie Morgan Show on the ongoing series, The Joys and the Woes of Singlehood, with me, your girl, your sister, your friend, Maggie Morgan. Guys, tonight we are unpacking what it's like to be 40 and over or above, and you're single, and what that looks like. Okay, so yeah, invite somebody, tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody that we're here. As you can see, it's a panel discussion. It's going to be a great one. Okay, so bring on the friends, the family. We are all here. We want to hear your thoughts. Okay, and before we jump in, let me just get my panelists to introduce themselves. Go ahead, Miss Ivy. Introduce yourself and let us hear you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pastor Maggie. The Maggie Mugai Show. Hey, it's an honor, a real privilege to be on. And thank you so much. My name is Ivy Chiwandure. And yes, I'm single and I'm over 40. And this is why we're here today. But I want to just introduce myself. I'm a nurse, midwife. I have background as a pastor, evangelist, and I love God, and it's a pleasure to be here. And just to be part of this panel to talk about the joys and woes of love is a privilege. So thank you for the platform, Pastor Maggie.
You are welcome, sis. It's good to have you here. Okay, guys. So it's not just us. We want to hear what you have to say, what you may have experienced, as a someone that's 40 and over, and you have been single and, believing God for love, and what that journey has been like. So, you know what, just to make our, new panelists, our guest also, Pastor Ivy, we want to just throw it out to you, Ivy. Mm-hmm. What is the difference between seeking love as someone who's 40 and over versus when younger, like in the 20s? Because I know you're, let me not say that. It's your story to tell. Obviously, okay. I know you on a personal level. Go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead. I will throw it out. I think the difference between the age differences, as you approach 40, there's a maturity level that you go in with a better understanding, let's say in terms of acts of service and the 5 languages of love in general. You have a better understanding, and you sort of need to discover your own. So in the whole journey of life, you start to know yourself better, your languages of love, how to do the love thing. When you're younger, obviously it's kind of a head over heels in love. So you go in and maybe you don't even seek the face of God. You don't pray about it. You don't really sort of address which way shall I go, shall I pursue? Shall I go into this relationship or shall I not? So there's that wisdom, that guides you as you're 40 and over. And I can speak from experience because I'm divorced and I'm a grandmother of 2 beautiful, wonderful children and a mother to 5 kids. So I do understand the angle where maturity does serve a purpose, where you learn and reflect and learn from your mistakes, and the better ways to navigate through the journey called life. Amen.
Yeah. Wow. I have to agree with you on that, Ivy, that there's a level of wisdom that comes at, being older versus when you were much younger. And what you just said, because I was going to say that angle about you, and I'm glad you owned it and said it, that you are, divorced and a mom of 5 and a grandma too. These grandmas on here, listen, the grandmas of this generation, okay. We got 2 over here, okay? These grandmas, okay, they are fly. They are not your regular, okay? They are fine. They are fine. They be 50 and fabulous, 50 and fierce. Ah, Shabba, you. Oh, my. But seriously, I think we can all agree that there is a level of maturity, understanding, and a better handle on life at this age. At this age, because you said something about like you pray more. You're obviously like you're you're not looking to make the mistakes that you made before.
No.
Yeah. Minister Israel, you're nodding, sir. Not that you're over 40, but it's always good to have you on the show because, like I said, you always bring an amazing aspect to the show. Go ahead, sir. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, ma'am. So I believe for 40, 40, you're not young because as a young person, you have potentials to make mistakes. Of course, they really don't have full understanding. They don't have the knowledge. So they can gamble their life. They can do a lot of things that really do not make sense. Why? Because they don't have full understanding. They don't have the knowledge.
Right.
But 40, I believe there is a level of self-awareness that comes with 40. You know yourself to some extent because for some of us, as we keep growing, we keep evolving. There are some possibilities from us that we really don't know that it exists or is existing. But as we continue to grow and evolve, we tend to see those possibilities that, I actually can do this. This actually part of it that I did not know. But when you are young, you don't know all of that. Right? So I just believe that with 40, finding love, you have some awareness. There's some things you know about yourself. And so you're not ready to gamble anything. You know that if this thing is coming like this and you're able to detect it, you know, hey, it's going to work for me. But sometimes you know that, hey, this thing, I'm not ready to patch anything. I'm not ready to massage anything. It's not going to work and it's not going to work. So I believe that, that with 40, it comes to a level of there is a lot of maturity. You tend to know yourself, you know your capacity, you know what you can do, you know what will work for you. To some extent, you know what will not work, right? So with 40, I just believe that 40 is not ready to pay anything. It's young people, it's 20 years old or teenagers. They are those ones that can just make any rational decision now. I mean, really, they really do not know anything. But for 40, like, these are an adult, and so they are ready, they are good to go. They know that if this thing will work, it will work. And if it's not going to work, they're not ready to play or waste their life again. And so, that comes to that age.
Yeah, totally. Apostle Sharon, ma'am, you want to jump in on that?
Well, when you're young, and you think you'll forever be young. And so some of us, it depends on how you grew up, what was your circumstances around, you do certain things just because of certain things that has happened in your life. But I always, my granny used to always tell us that, you know, when you're young and you're in your 20s, you know, you're so to speak, you're going about it through the seat of your pants. You don't even care. You just, you know, you're out there. When you turn 30, you're like, okay, I'm still a little young. I still got some play in me. Let me keep on playing. So, but when you hit 40, by that time, you're like, okay, I done had a little heartache. I done been through some things now. I ain't trying to get hurt like that. But when you turn 40, it's something about the light bulb comes on. For women, the light bulb comes on early for us, but we still be playing. But for men, it takes a little bit longer for that light bulb to come on. So when you hit 40, it's something I can tell. When I hit 40, I could tell by the way the man walked in the room. Oh, this ain't gonna work. This ain't.
Exactly like what?
Listening to that discernment.
Yeah, exactly like what Minister Israel will say. You know, there is no time to play. You've grown. You can see it, and you can call it out for what it is. So I guess not to say that those who are 40 and over are perfected. We're by no means saying once you're 40 and you know you're still single, you know, you should be mistake free. You should be able to navigate this whole thing, you know, mistake free and just be on top of your game and yada yada yada. No, that's not what we're saying. We're just saying that there is you're going to have to do things differently if you're going to succeed, because you can't afford to be going over past mistakes. You know, they do say, you know, a fool at 40 is a fool forever.
Absolutely.
Right, a full at 40 is a full forever. So you gotta, if you know, you gotta be at that place where you are all about you at this point, and not just be out there for whatever's sake. But now let me ask this about the 40s and over, because that's something that I feel like in as much as they can see that thing where they like, I can see her work, like you said, Apostle, and so did Minister Israel. I think, do you think, let me put it out there as a question, do you think then that those who are in their 40s and above, do you think they have less tolerance? Do you feel like they want a finished product? Because you know, again, no one's going to be perfect, but you feel like those who are 40, like, you can give a reference in your own life if you want to, but you feel like it's something where maybe those who are older, they just don't have the time, nor the tolerance, nor the patience for dealing with someone that could have been a good match, but you know, they kind of like needed a little patience and all that. What are your thoughts on that?
I think I wouldn't, if I can come in, I wouldn't say with regards to tolerance, because sometimes there's a transitioning where, let's say, a conversation. So let's say you're with the other half or the other person, you're having a conversation, but there's a quality conversation that you start to have, what that focuses on hearing, that's listening sympathetically. So there's a change in how you approach your dialogue with the other half or the other opposite sex. So you're there having better communication, you're maintaining eye contact, you're listening, you're actively listening. So there's a difference. So I suppose you engage the other person much better because you're putting your all in it, because you want to make it work. You're not there to play games. There's a transitional change, obviously, of maturity, wisdom, and knowing exactly what it is that you desire or like, and then aligning it with the will of God. So as you pray, you're seeking for a better discernment to say, is this the person? Yes or no? So then you kind of have clarity much faster, because the Lord, if you're hearing from the Lord, you'll hear that no. You see the red flags quicker, I think.
Yeah, you'll see the red flags quicker, you know, and be able to decipher, you know, is this a red flag, or is this something that they just need to, you know, tweak about their lives? Because I remember when we had that show not last week, the week before last, Minister Israel, you remember we had the Okatepas, and they were amazing, where they really took us there and said something about when you are a single person, when you are still single, when you are dating or courting or whatever it is you want to call it, they said you need to sit on the judgment seat when you are doing that, because at that point you are trying to figure out, is this someone that I can do life with? Because if you choose to act like you didn't see nothing, you didn't take care of stuff, once you get into that marriage, you're no longer on the judgment seat, you are on the mercy seat. So basically, you put up with everything and anything, because guess what? Time to have been on the judgment seat has come and gone. Now you're sitting on a new seat. It's the mercy seat. You're just going to have to. It's a forgiving situation. Now there's some, and this is the thing that I think as a 40, those who are 40s, and I'm 40, right? Well, in my 40s, I think it's really a thing where I find that people expect those who are in their 40s to almost compromise, because they're in their 40s. Like, oh well, just marry whatever, because it's okay. I mean, you've been holding out all that. Just marry whatever.
No, the devil lied. The devil lied. I want to say this: just because you're 40 don't mean you're mature. If you're 40 and above, it does not mean that you're mature. I have met men who was 50s and plus and was not mature at all. Met some that was 30s and was very mature. So it's not the age that is the maturity level that you need. And so I for me personally, I am in my 50s. I've been celibate since for 11 years now, going on 12. And I come from being a sex addict, from being a pimp, from doing all these things. And so for me, because of I used my gift not for the good, but for evil, so I could discern and decipher if this was the man that was going to give me the feeling that I was looking for. There's a difference. So when I became celibate, and I was like, okay, God, I need for you to help me. You know what I'm saying? I need for you to help this thing, because it's not about sex, but I have to heal all this stuff, because I had a trail of broken hearts behind me. A trail. And so what we don't talk about is that what we came from, how we healed from it, so we can help other people to heal, so that, because this is where we're at, where we're healing one another and changing the narrative. The thing is that when you are in God, you can't date like the world. Yes. Why would you be in God and use Satan's strategies for you to get a soulmate or a helpmeet to help meet the need? Why would you do that? You cannot.
You cannot. And I'll add onto that,
please,
Sharon, as well. In my midwifery days 10 years ago, there's a woman that came in at 45 years old having her first baby. And to me, that was like, she was African. It's like, you've waited 45 years to have a baby? She said, Ivy, I had not met the right person yet. So she waited for her Boaz. She waited for her bone of her bone. You know, and sometimes it would be like as if it's a movie clip playing out, but she waited. She waited upon the Lord, like Isaiah 40 that says, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. You shall run and not be weary, and you shall walk and not be faint. But it's knowing, and we need to educate ourselves, because the devil comes to shortchange you and sell you a counterfeit. You can refuse every counterfeit and just wait upon the Lord. That's the calling, to say the Lord you will hear, and that discernment, the red flags that you will notice earlier, they're there. But sometimes, obviously, when you're in your teenage years, you deny them and you rush head on. Then you wonder, oh God, my marriage is falling apart. What happened? But maybe there were red flags that you ignored or chose to ignore. And, I put my hands up to say I've made the mistakes. But you do call on the Lord, and you'll be saved. So there's a way to change and transition and still remedy there's never anything that the Lord cannot fix. Amen.
Yeah, that's so good. Minister Israel, come on in on this thing when those who were in their 40s and over being told, at this point, just marry whatever. What are your thoughts on that, sir?
Well, so I believe that love, this thing we call love, we all deserve love. Love for everybody, like we are all worthy of love. So irrespective of your age, either you're young or you're old, you should be loved. We all deserve love. But then we won't, because of that, lower our standard.
Lowering the standards. I love that. Carry on, sir. Come on.
For someone that is 40, I said it earlier that there is a level of self-awareness that they have, right? So that means you have your life working. As a matter of fact, just so that we know, we really do not need marriage to fulfill our purpose, what God had of us. Paul talked about all of those things in the Bible that Paul advised that you are righteous not to marry. So that means if you want to marry, it therefore means that you need to pay attention. You need to do all of those things that are expected, because there is principle for it. So you don't just do marriage because people are getting married. There is a standard for it. So if you want to get married, make sure you follow the standard. But if you're not getting married, it means you can live your life. You can be fulfilled. right? So get your standard right, get your life working, all of those things you're doing. I mean, for someone that is 40 and is not married, it means they are doing something right.
Okay.
It's not all of the time that because someone is not married, they are always doing something wrong. No. Some people are single because they are doing something right.
Come on. I like that.
And you're doing very well, that means you're doing something right. So if anybody is coming to join you, it therefore means that you need to scrutinize, like you need to do your interview very well. It's not everybody that you just bring to the party. What you're doing very well to come and destroy it or abolish it.
Yeah.
So you bring anybody into your life to come and destroy the track record that you have, because as 14 and single and you're fine and you're good, that means you can live your life like that. But if peradventure you need love, you desire love, someone is coming, then I think this age you need to be very, very extra careful, because there is no time again. So anybody that is coming, hey boy, you're not just coming to mess up my life. So I need to do my current interview. I need to know if you're here. I need to know, you need to up in your standard. You don't know. I will suggest that you raise the bar. You should raise the bar. So that
raise the bar.
We are not here to joke. We are not here to play. Come on. So I just believe that it's important. It's important. Everybody should know that if anybody is coming to join your life, to come together with what you are right now that is working, then you should be you should raise your standard. You should do your interview very well. You should not lower the bar. Rather, you should actually optimize it so that anybody coming will know that really, I'm not coming to destroy anybody's life or to just go with this person.
Yeah. But do you feel, sir? Okay, with that said, and that's so true. I love that, because you just described me. Okay. Okay. But do you think that maybe those of us who are in their 40s and over, 40 and over, are in having our act together and we're already set in our ways? Or could it be that we are way too set in our ways that we would judge something unfairly? Does that make sense?
I think sometimes we do, and it's a difficult parameter to measure, because there is being too fussy. And let's say you have a whole, who is the perfect gentleman? Because can you ever attain to ticking off every requirement? Does he have this? Is he working? Is he employed? Is he a God-fearing man? There's a whole list that you could, to me, the top of the list, they have to be a God-fearing man. However, there's some things that maybe the potter's house, where you're taking this man, maybe there's some molding, but the danger in allowing to settle for molding someone, then you may have already started to lower your standards. You may already have started to lower, then maybe you're not listening to the red flags, because already if it's a red flag, do not compromise. However, there is a difference of taking somebody and then together you journey together and you build together, you build this thing together, rather than saying, I want to marry a rich man. Maybe you and this rich man, this man that you fall in love with and that ticks all the boxes and is a God-fearing person, you can build a home, a happy home together. But it's nurturing that. And then I think you have to have a spiritual discernment, because the other scripture that comes to mind is we always pray our children will not marry their enemy. So sometimes the enemy comes to sabotage our lives by sending this person that is not even aligned. It's do not be unequally yoked. So when there's somebody that comes that's unequally yoked to yourself, that creates mayhem. And then you find that tomorrow it may seem happily married, and in 2-3 years there's now divorce, or there's now a broken home. That could have been prevented if all let's say marriage counseling. I'm a fan of people going and seeking advice, marriage counseling, consulting with the elders, therapy, everything, because you have to get it right, because especially when children are involved, you need to get it right. But it is it's a hard one, because you do not want to be unequally yoked.
Yeah, that's so good. Apostle Sharon, jump in, ma'am, because I want to talk about the situation about like blended families, because the three of us here, it's a blended family situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So with me, the Lord just gave me, and I just did a small series on, he woke me up at 6:30 in the morning to talk to me about the functionality of a rib. What he chose the rib to, as we're supposed to function as a rib. And he said, the problem is that we don't know how to function as a rib. We don't know how to function. And so it's three essential functions of a rib. And the one is protection, one is support, and the third one is respirations. So, we look at it like we're a rib, but there is 24 ribs in a body.
Yeah.
You are a cage. It has a whole cage, rib part. So you support, you have the back, you are the backbone. That's the rib cage is part of the backbone. A cage is something that you imprison, you house. That means if you are protection, that you have the key. So why would you, if you are protection, you are to protect the vitality, his vital organs. That's what a rib cage does, is to protect the vital organs. So if good. I'm supposed to protect your heart, baby, why am I on the phone talking to somebody who's been divorced twice, who is bitter Barbara, and I'm telling her my business about you when I'm supposed to be your protection?
Wow.
Yeah.
Amen. Why am I doing that?
Yeah.
So therefore, and he gave me, and which most people can't get with because it's a secular song, but he said this. He said, that girl had it right, Alicia Keys, when she says, I won't tell your secrets because your secrets are safe with me. I will be the loyalty that you need. What happened to that? What happened if I'm the protection? So then also support. That means when you support something, you hold it up.
Yeah.
You hold it up. You support it. You the backbone. You make sure. And then the rib cage, do you not know that when you respire, which is respiration, that means you are able to inhale. And when you inhale, you hold it together. When you exhale, you push it out, which means you're flexible. So what happened to your flexibility? What happened to your flexibility? Because you want things to be your way. So you stuck in a place where you don't want to be flexible. Yeah. But you want to be loved.
Right.
You don't want to compromise. But you want to be loved. You understand what I'm saying? So he was telling me about the essential functions of that. And he said, once you begin to study, and I said, oh God, I said, forgive me. Because forgive me, God. Because if I am the help me and I'm supposed to help meet the need, I can't be on the phone talking to you. I can't be on the phone talking to bitter Barbara. Right. I can't be on the phone talking to petty Betty. I can't be on the phone with that. You understand me?
Yeah.
I can't be on the phone with that.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
I have to be able to because when you are a cage, you imprison that, you embody it.
Yeah.
And then let me say this last thing.
Go ahead, ma'am.
If you are the right rib and you get connected to the right rib cage, it'll work because they're equally yoked. But when you're not, you become that crack rib and
that reminds me of something that Tita Lewis said, the girl that we had come in. I said, girl, the woman of God. She's so cute and compact. She is like, we miss Adam, but she's sharp tongue. Oh my God. But she said something about, this whole thing that we be like, well, God hates divorce. And she was like, yeah, God hates divorce on the marriages that he put together. But if you put your own thing together yourself, you're on your own.
That's it.
You're on your own. Quit giving God glory. Quit giving God glory for what you did by your own might, by your own power, by your own formulation. Quit giving God glory for that kind of stuff.
That is the truth.
Yes.
That is that. Look, she said the gospel truth on that. That is the truth.
Yes.
Because he said, what he places together, let no man put asunder. And that means even you. That means even you.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about the blended situation. Like I see it. Okay, we got two grandmamas here, fly ones, beautiful ones, fabulous. Okay, they already told you. All right, but seriously, how I'm thinking like in this age, obviously, you know, children are involved here. What are your thoughts on that, Ivy, when it comes to blended families for those that are 40 and over in finding love? Where do the children fit in all this?
I think it's a good way to integrate and to pray and just to bring the whole family unit anchored on the core values of the Lord, because the idea is where you have forgiveness. So when you come, let's say there's been a divorce, regardless of the situation and who's caused it, the idea is to let go, release, and completely forgive and have a heart of love and compassion. So when you have a heart of love and compassion, you then are able to embrace the other partner's half or whichever way, and then that way families just flow in the love of, because you know parents remain parents, so it's called parenting together. Your key focus is on the well-being of the household, of the family, and you blend in well, supporting each other, which is so key. So there's no point in creating a vicious fight of a divorce, because that just creates long-term animosity. But the ideal is to really pray and ask the Lord to give you the ability to forgive. You have to forgive, and that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, so that you don't go bleeding over other people. Again, I think that was something that we learned from Tita Olua. She said that, you know, you need to take care of stuff so that you're not bleeding on other people. So true. Apostle Sharon, ma'am, you want to jump in on that one?
And I also think too that being a blended family, and I of course my kids are grown. So so when it comes to blending it, and the man that I am going to marry, we have to all come in together, and that means that the other half. So that means that the mother of his children, there has to be a relationship with us. And you know, especially because I have to look at him as the whole package, because he's looking at me as the whole package. So I'm not just marrying him, I'm marrying his family, his cousins, his uncles, all that. I'm marrying that. I'm marrying his children. And so I want to be able to be a mama to them. So I have grown children who have my son is married. So that means that they're going to be in this, you know what I'm saying? And my grandchildren, my oldest grandchild is just turned 23. He'll be 24 in January.
No way.
So, yes, he'll be 24 in January. And so he's looking at, you know, marriage and different things of that nature. He still comes, he just told me, can I come spend the night tonight with Mama? We ain't had our time. So I have to look at that. So when you are blending something together, you have to be able to look at all the aspects of it and say, this is what I'm signing up for.
Oh, absolutely.
Because that's what you are. You're signing up for that. But when God does that thing, you fit together. It's like, it's such a blending, a beautiful blend of his look of unity, of a family unit. And that's how you have to look at it. So that means you fuss at them kids just like they're yours. That's what we do. And that means that if I have a relationship with him and with his ex-wife, that means when the kids come and they say, hey, can we do such and such and such? I can pick up the phone and say, girl, what's up with this? Oh, okay, this is what we're gonna do it. Okay, I got you. Because that means I have to support her just as well. It works better if I can support her and she can support me. It works better if he can support their father. You know what I'm saying? It works better for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's so good. So good. So good. So good. So good. I love that. I love that. I don't know if Minister Ezra wants to jump in on this point before I come back to you on that.
Okay, ma'am. So I just believe that there is a lot of wisdom that comes from situations that's right. And so the party involved, right? So if a man and a woman, they are coming together and the blended situation, the partner is actually the one that will actually help the other party to interact together with anybody that are bringing in to join them. Just like Mama said that if they are getting married to anybody, it's their promise that they are getting married to their family, to the children, everything. So it's the partner that will help to blend them together, right? So that wisdom that comes with that department. So some of the roles in practical times, some of the roles of the partner will be helping your partner to score points with your children, helping them to score points with your family. So you are the middleman for the lady or for they are the middleman, because anything you sell to them, that's what they will buy. I've been saying this, I usually say it, ma'am. Anything your partner sells to your family, that's what they will purchase from you.
That's right? So true. So I love that.
Represent very well. Represent your wife with your family member. Represent your husband with your children. Just represent, because it's what you portray to them. So anything that working well, make sure you sort it out personally. But public image with your children, with your family, make sure you say good reputation. Say good things. Say good things. To buy some things, give it to them. Say, in the name of my partner, just make sure you are scoring points. That will help blend. That will help the navigation. That's why I said there's a that comes in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I really love that. I love that. Yeah, because the blended family is a big thing, you know, and being that, I mean, we have Ivy here who's a divorcee. I'm a single parent. Apostle Sharon, I know your babies are all grown. Your baby's having babies.
Yeah, my baby's having babies. And, and by the grace of God, I'm not a great grandma just yet. We broke that generational curse. So just, you know, having babies before our time. So
but you support the children. Like for me, I still run around my stepson, making sure any medical appointments, I'm there. I'm 100% available for all his needs. And like you're saying, as a blended family, you connect the core value of the family unit needs to stay intact.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so too. Now with this whole situation, I have to go back to a situation where I had to help a sister out. Obviously, we're keeping names out of this, but just because I know there's some singles who might be in this place right now, you know, where in being 40, and in as much as we said, no, we do not compromise, we're not just going to marry anything. But then there's the question of the ex coming back. And I know that there are different dynamics here. There are different scenarios and all that. But let's talk about this whole thing about the ex. Because this particular sister, bless her heart, had reconnected with her ex from, like 2 decades ago. And she thought he was back and they were going to give things a go, only to find out he was playing her. Yeah. Let's talk about exes in your 40s and over. Let's talk about that. Now, I'm not saying that every ex is evil. It could be that, again, people have separated. They had to go their separate ways because they were still, for lack of a better word, y'all were still foolish. Okay. Now y'all have grown. You've come into your own. You're like, oh, I still could do life with her. I'm wiser now. Let's talk about, like I said, there are different dynamics here, different situations here. I'm not saying all are, no go.
I believe the ex, when you view them with forgiveness and love, and art of compassion like the Father, then there's room for restoration, reconciliation, if the Lord wills. But you always have to go by the will of the Father. You have to hear from the voice of the Lord and pray about it. So there's no, in any move or situation that you do, it's coming back to what is God saying about, shall I go back to the situation? And even when you then do go back into the situation, the key message is not to bring back the past. You then let the past be bygones and then allow a new growth of like, this is the new platform we are rising from, and then just make new steps that are echoing the rekindled love. So there's no reminding each other of old mistakes and anything like that. And however, if it's the will of God, it would work. And I think once you have a friendship bond, you find a lot of marriages do rekindle in the future years, because you sort of go around a full circle and then you come back. For some people, they come back to each other, and it's quite normal.
I mean, we saw that with Benny Hinn.
Yes.
Him and Susan were divorced, for a little bit there, and they came back together. A beautiful story, and they remarried themselves. How beautiful was that? I thought that was so beautiful, so beautiful. So we're not saying that it cannot happen. Apostle, jump in, ma'am. Jump in.
Well, I'm not saying that it cannot happen. But and you have to look at where you were at and where your mindset was at then. And there's that maturity level. So it depends on who is the ex and what the ex was and why is the ex an ex. Because sometimes the ex is an ex for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I loved what Pastor Ivy was saying when she said about, the will of God, because I have to do the will of God. When you are a woman of God and you have a call, an anointing, and you have ministry, and if you a man of God and you have a call and a ministry, there's a mandate that it has to be in God's will, because if not, it will be, do you not know that there's certain spirits that follows people who have certain mantles to destroy your ministry?
Yes.
So if that ex was being used at that time, he gonna be used in the future if he don't get it together. So therefore, you gotta be careful. You know what I'm saying? Because people don't understand that when you have a mantle on your life and a mandate. I just told Gang this morning, there's a difference between a call and being chosen. And when you're chosen, you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. They told you did, but you ain't got a choice. He woke me up early this morning to tell me there's a difference between being called and chosen.
I like that. I like that. I like
powerful.
I like that. Minister Israel, please jump in, sir, if you want to.
Most times, when it comes to ex, we need to know that an ex doesn't come the way they left you, right? So they left you, they are exposed to some life situations. There are some things they learn along the way, some things they pick up along the way. So if they are coming back, we need to do all of those analysis. And more so, for an ex to, I want to believe that there was something that led to the separation. So if an ex is coming back, we need to analyze it. What happened? Why did we do it? So if we are coming back, we need to talk about it. I need to know if you're still having that culture. Is it an habit that you've actually not worked on? We need to address it. I'm not saying it's not possible. Of course, things are possible. But the wisdom demands that we should do all of those analysis. So let's know that where you're coming from, what has changed, what has happened to you, what are the accounts. We need to put all of those into factor before we do things together. And so when we're talking about requirements now, we just need to analyze it. When it comes to requirements in marriage, there is a must-have. Like, if we don't have this, then we should not be talking. There is a must-have.
Absolutely.
That, okay, we will not have. I will really appreciate if you have it, but if you don't have it, that's not a big deal. It's fine, bro.
Right.
We should consider all of that. There are some things that they should have, like it's very important, it's paramount. We need to address all of that. So, Anet's coming in, it's not a problem, but why is it coming back? Why is she coming back?
You're going to have to be wiser with your, like you put a minister Israel, you call them interviews. You know, you're going to have to be asking the right questions. Those interviews are so important. You know, just asking the right question as the HR manager of your life. And obviously that in this age now, you're in a different place. You're obviously in a different place in your life. You've gone on further. And like what you were saying, Apostle Sharon, you know, for some of us, we've come into the call of God, the very thing that we were chosen and born to fulfill. And you got to guard that jealously.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. You know, and guard that so that you're not frustrating your destiny. You're not frustrating your calling, all in the name of, well, I need to do, you know, I'm doing love with my ex or with whoever for that matter. You know, so it's really, really important. Now, let me just switch it up a little bit. And it looks like I'm going to be making reference to another show here. You know, when we talked about age difference, when we were like age different couples. So, yeah, because listen, like I said earlier, look at these grandmas of this generation. These are grandmas. And look at how fly they be like a 30-year-old guy will pull up and be like, what's up? Like checking y'all out. But seriously, I know how you feel about this, Apostle Sharon. You already told us. You were that one that was on both sides of the spectrum. You've done the really, really young, younger than you.
Really old.
And that was fun. That was fun. Pastor Evie, do you want to just share with us what are your thoughts about that, ma'am? You know, like the age difference. You know, is that something that's a thing?
To be honest, I think because there's stigma, when it's the opposite way, a man is allowed to find somebody very, very young and marry them, and there's no questions asked. But if a woman does that, there's another big news story that becomes the highlight. So it's the breaking news moment. Yeah. However, to be honest, true and pure love comes from the heart, and there's no digits, as long as it's above the age of 18 and a consensual, you know, and also seeking the Lord in everything that we do. So I think the steps of a righteous man are ordered by the Lord, and that's the key. So rather than worry about, am I connected to this? And I love your analogy of what we are as women, connected, rib cage, protection, restoration, and, you know, love. So that if we embrace that, as Apostle Sharon said, you wouldn't worry that, oh, there's 5 years and there's 12 years and there's 50. It wouldn't matter, because it's bone of your bone and flesh of your flesh. That connection, that Boaz connection, or vice versa, that Ruth, whichever way you want to look at it, because you are seeking to be well joined and connected by the grace of God.
Yeah. I mean, you're so right, but you're so right in what you said earlier as you opened up with this, for this to answer this question, because we said it's almost like a cultural thing. For Africans, it's a taboo. How dare she marry a guy so much younger, or even just a couple of years younger than her? But then if it's a guy, you flip it, it's all okay. It's okay. And we talked about this in age difference, and we were like, look at the French president, Macron, with his wife that is, is she about what, 13? I'll Google it in just a moment, but she's a couple of years older than him. And I said, if that brother was in Africa, heck, he wouldn't be a president. There's no way he would be a president. Africans be like, no, go sit down. Go sit down. How dare you marry a woman older than you? Talk to us about being president. It won't work. It won't work, if it was an African scenario. And I think this is what we're saying. It's cultural. Because out here in these parts of the world, when you come to the Western world, I think everybody now has come to that place where people don't care no more.
They don't care.
People don't care. And I say that, and I say normal because I've seen some Africans, in England marry some African women marry a younger guy. And some of them it's their first marriage. For some of them it's their second marriage. Maybe first one did work out and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's one of those situations that indeed that the whole age thing is yeah. Really, I mean, I think ultimately we're saying that it's okay if it's okay for you.
Yeah. It's all about what you want to deal with and what you deal with.
Yeah. And it's okay as long as how Minister Israel likes to put it is he says it's what you sell to the people out there. What you sell to the people out there is what they'll buy off of you. So if you're confident and you're happy in your relationship, you're heading to you're getting married to this person, it's all good.
When it comes to maturity, it's really not about age, because we have some 20-year-old man and we have a 40-year-old boy, right? So,
come on.
Yeah, so when we equate it, it's really not about the age. A 40-year-old man or woman, when somebody is coming in and you're way far older than them, I think there's some wisdom that comes into that department. So you just need to navigate. So you check for character, you check for consistency, check for their value, right? Check their track record. What have they been doing? Because what people have been doing is what people keep doing. So check for their consistency level. What have they been doing before meeting you, right? So if they are married or if they are not married, ask them, why are they not married? So if they opt out of the marriage, ask them what happened, right? So there are a lot of things we need to check. Just check that you analyze and see who they are. Because they said the half of a man is desperately wicked. That we can know it, but I believe with communication and discernment, we can actually know who somebody is. And so it comes from their habits, their values, their consistency. What are they into? Check their life, just check their life record.
With talking about what they've been doing, because let's be honest, people of God, at 40 and above, really, there's some things we want to see in your life. Okay, like seriously, don't come up in here and be like, we're not even, like, come on, we're expecting you to like being established in your career, for God's sake, or even if you have transition, change of career, midlife crisis, whatever, and maybe you were a businessman and businesswoman, and now you decided, I don't know, you want to be a nurse. That's fine. But you know what? Like what Minister Israel is saying, that track record, we need to see where you're coming from. You can't be in your 40s and over and be like, showing up like you're only 25. Now that's foolishness. And can I say, there's so many guys that are doing that with ladies. And be like, well, I just love you, and I'm sorry, ladies, that you're falling for this kind of foolishness. You're setting yourself up for a lifetime of problems.
Absolutely.
Okay, a bit like what that video I saw on Instagram.
I don't want peace. I want problems always.
Where the guy, it's like some African warrior. He goes, I don't want peace. I want problems all the time. I thought that was so funny because seriously, it's like you just signing up for hell. Because can I just say, like, I'm not, was it Minister Israel who said this, or was it Apostle Sharon that you said, listen, you do not need to be married for you to fulfill your life's assignment. There is nowhere or even entry into heaven. There is nowhere it says in the Word of God that only for after receiving Jesus Christ, then the next criteria to come into heaven is you needed to have been married on earth. Hell no. Okay, let's not make a thing of this whole marriage thing and make you feel like you are you're not all there, or you're insufficient. Your life doesn't count because, well, you've not married. And so coming back to what Minister Israel had said, and I'm just adding to that, like, seriously, ladies, quit that. A man's gonna show up. What's his track record? He's showing up, wanting to be with you and talking about all love and everything. We love the love. We don't. Absolutely. Okay, we love the love, but listen, that does not mean you need to what's the word? Turn a blind eye to some of these things. Don't do that. Don't do that. We want to know, okay, buddy, great. This is me. This is what I'm about. And even you, lady, okay, we need to know your track record. Have you established yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. Your career. Okay, what are you doing with your life? Where have you been?
Yes.
Things like these matter. Okay, we can't deal with these things when you were in your 20s. Jump in, Pastor Ivy.
We can remove the stigma from society, like where they say the biological clock is ticking. Sorry to interject, because
go.
Have this understanding that I need to be married by a particular age, or I need to have done. So this framework doesn't align with your personal calling or destiny or what the Lord desires for you. So then you'll rush, and that's where the counterfeit can come in. You do an Israel, like a Ishmael rather than an Isaac. So wait on the Lord, because you're rushing yourself, and this here to what society maybe sometimes put things in boxes. So we need to move away from that. Say, I'm 32 and I haven't married. And then you start rushing through. And in that rushing through, you could then end up with a misalignment of the wrong person.
Right. Exactly. Totally. So guys, listen, we're getting ready to shut this thing. I don't know, ladies, if y'all want to come in with a word of advice, to the ladies out there. I mean, I've just had my own go there, but feel free to come in. Maybe a lesson that you learned in your own life, your personal journey, your personal experience. Go for it.
I just want to say that seek God. Seriously, seek God. The functionality of a rib, study it. Study it.
Yeah.
Study it. Yes. Study it so that you know what God is requiring of you. Because and let me say this, just because you're in church, you're both in church, don't mean that you're equally yoked.
Yes.
Just because you're both in church, don't mean you're equally yoked, because his assignment and your assignment could be two different assignments. And if you are the wrong rib in the right place, and then you're trying to connect with this and it's not yours to connect with, it will cause you a lot of pain, frustration, and heartache. So you must seek God, and especially if you have your own calling and your own assignment. Because God will assign you a destiny helper. He assigns us destiny helpers for the assignment.
Yes. And I can
that's so good. Go for it, Miss Ivy.
And I'll add on to say, like what she said, walking in that purpose. So fulfillment of marriage. And then when you're in the marriage, always seek counseling, seek outside help. Don't always suffer or like fight off situations where a little licking room is something that you could fix. So rather than observing it in your 40s, even when you're in your 20s and you go in the journey of marriage, try and do a partnership of love, unity, proper, like a cementing of the will of God for your marriage, so that you keep oozing, that flourishing like the cedar of Lebanon, where you enjoy the marriage. There should be joyful, happy joy in the home, laughter and joy.
Yes.
Absolutely. Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Listen, just looking at the comments before we go, Mark A. Click says, discerning their spirit and their focus in life will give you answers. Totally could not agree more, sir. You will ruin your purpose with wasted years with the wrong person. That is so true, people of God. Now, just because you're, like we said, just because you're 40 and over does not mean you need to rush into anything. Forget about the pressure, whether it's you, the internal pressure you put yourself under, and be like, well, everybody else is getting married, I'm not married. No. Well, let me ask you this: if everybody was jumping off the cliff, would you also be jumping off a cliff?
When I was younger, my dad used to say stuff like that. If everybody jumps off the bridge, would you jump off the bridge? And I would always go, I'm gone.
Absolutely. So anyway, guys, this is it. We want to leave it here. But we'll be back next week with another episode next Saturday, same time, same place. Feel free to go over to our YouTube channel. There's a ton of content on there. We've unpacked so much in this series, so much in this series, that we really want to have you guys navigate your singleness in Christ into marriage really fulfilled, without the pressure, and just own your life in God and just enjoy it. All right. So guys, we're leaving it here. This is it. Thank you so much. Amazing having y'all here. Get over to the YouTube channel and watch the last 3 videos uploaded. It's the expectation versus reality by the Okutepas. Oh my God. People of God. Yes. Oh my. Y'all need to go watch that. It's a 44-minute video, a 55-minute video, and a 20-minute video. Help yourself and deliver yourself from some of these mistakes that can cost you your life. Like the gentleman just said, you will ruin your purpose with wasted years with one person. You better hear word. Okay. All right, people of God, this is it. We got to go. On behalf of me, Maggie Murguy, and my contributors, Ivy and Mama Sharon and Minister Israel, we are signing off. We're saying thank you. Bye.